Hey, hey everybody. I'm glad that you're tuning in with us. This is something new and fun. Hatched the idea seems like yesterday, and here we are already doing it, thanks to my amazing peoples over here. I'm not going to talk to you very much right now. In fact, I'm not going to talk to you at all, because I'm going to go get our friends who are eager to visit with you. I know they are. They told me. So I'm just going to relax. It just takes a little bit of time. If you know anything about this, then you know. I'm going to go get Abraham. And if you don't know who Abraham is, good luck with that, right? Okay, here I go. We are right here. We are right here, right now. And we are extremely pleased that you are here. It's nice to have an opportunity to visit. And so we want you to know that it doesn't matter where you are. You could be here in the room with us or anywhere else. But as you are focused here with us, you too are broadcasting in this vibrational atmosphere in which we all live. And so as you broadcast, we'll receive you. And as we broadcast you, whether you're watching something like this or not, you have the ability to receive us. Esther thought that this might be a fun and good idea, an opportunity for us to chew over some things together and remember who we are, to put everything that is new, like always, into perspective. It's a nice thing to remember that things are always changing, that you are living in a dynamic environment that is and always has and always will be changing. And you are adaptive beings. And by that we mean not just adaptive to your environment, but adaptive to the energy stream that you are about. You are an extension of source energy. If you've been listening to us for a while, you have heard that from us often. You are here in these physical bodies as an extension of so much more. And remembering that so much more part and acknowledging the right now existence of it and transmission of it is really good for you, because as you acknowledge that there is that part of you, aware of where you are right now, aware of what your perspective is and what your opinion about your perspective is, your inner being is aware of right now, your right now too. And so as your inner being is aware of where you are in relationship to where you want to be, your inner being is always calling you in the direction of who you really are, of who you really all are, of who all of you really is, of the whole of who you are, calling you toward that. Because as you are moving in the direction of that wholeness, as you are moving in the direction of the desires that are new in every moment, that's where you feel not just ease or not just relief, but in time, enough momentum that you feel true satisfaction, true exhilaration, true sense of wholeness, a true sense of well-being. And not just well-being in the sense that something troubling is being resolved, but well-being in the sense that here you are, all of you, the physical you and the non-physical you, focused together in thought and focused together in attraction. If you've listened to us for a little while, we know that we talk never-endingly about the powerful law of attraction and how it is the manager of all things. And we talk to you about managing your thoughts by paying attention to the way you feel and blah, blah, blah. You've heard all of it. You know that. We know that you understand and know that. And recently, we've been describing to you with a little more emphasis that you are often, if you are like most humans, giving your attention to what is manifesting around you, and therefore that's what you're calibrating to. In other words, the vibrational output that you are generating is happening because of what you are observing. That's normal, not altogether helpful for you, but understandable, certainly, and in that sense, normal, certainly. So as you are observing what's happening around you in any point in time, by your attention to that, you are offering a vibration which is you calibrating to that, and you therefore establishing a stronger point of attraction. And the law of attraction is responding to what your vibrational output is. But we really want you to remember that while that's happening with you from your human perspective, from your thoughts that you are thinking, that there is another part of you, a much larger part of you, who is at this same moment, in this same time, in this now, in this universal now where non-physical and physical co-create or conspire. That non-physical part of you is also offering a vibration. Now, that vibration is exciting for us to talk about because that is the vibration. That's really the whole of who you are. That's really the present tense of who you are. Because as you're in your physical form, when you know what you don't want, you are launching a rocket of desire about what you do want. And that vibrational emission is transmitted from you and received by your inner being. And your vibrational reality is expanding. We call that your vortex. We want so much for you to accept it as something that is real and something that is now, especially since it's where your inner being is. Your inner being standing there as the never-ending, always in the moment culmination of all that your life is causing you to be. So that vibrational reality is vivid, but the most important thing that we are wanting to say about that right now is that that is your most powerful point of attraction. Knowing what you don't want may be what you and your human thoughts are thinking most about. But this vibrational reality that you have been and are generating, that's really what is most powerfully being responded to. We have said over time that that point of attraction is millions of times more powerful than what you are giving your thoughts to right here, right now. And that's why we can always say to you, with absolute certainty, that the well-being is dominant and will always prevail. But there is a question about how much you torture yourself in any given moment in time as you focus upon a now reality rather than focusing toward the solution reality. You cannot focus upon a problem and a solution at the same time, but we are not asking you to do that. You came knowing that you would focus upon what's happening around you, knowing that by knowing what you don't want, that there would be a culminating within you, a vibrational launching of clarity of what you do want. And you knew it was a good idea. You did not say, I'll go forth and be surrounded only by things that please me in every moment, and therefore my vibrational offering will be easy because it will just be a knee-jerk reaction to what I'm observing. You said, I'll go forth into this new environment, into this always new environment, physical environment, ever-changing environment. And as I focus there, I will continuously, steadily launch rockets of desire. And those rockets of desire will really represent who I am. You knew that before your birth into this physical body. And so we want to remind you that that is really what's going on. This vortex version of you, this non-physical version of you, this preceding version of you, this getting ready to manifest version of you. This is pure positive energy, and your inner being is focused there. Source energy is focused there. And the well-being, the collective well-being of the collective consciousness of your planet right now has caused this vortex to vibrate and summon with such power and clarity that as you are able to just get a whiff of it and turn your attention to it just a little bit, you will feel not just relief from focusing in opposition to the larger part of you. But you will begin, if you stay there for just a little bit, to feel your momentum join the momentum, the vibrational frequency momentum of this enormous flow of well-being that is happening around your planet. You get to be in on the leading edge of all of this. Of course, it doesn't matter if you are or not. In other words, terrible things aren't going to come to you because you're focused in a way that makes you feel fear or despair. It doesn't work that fast. It's not like that. You have a huge buffer of well-being. You have more well-being than you know. So we are not encouraging your attention toward the solution part of who you are or to the whole of who you are because there is an urgency or a desperation for you that requires it. We're encouraging it because we don't think for a moment you should feel fear. We don't think for a moment you should feel despair. We're talking in terms of how we would feel if we were standing in your physical shoes. We would focus ourselves as best we can in the direction of what feels best to you moment by moment. We also want you to know that what is, in terms of your now reality, is. In other words, we're not asking you to deny it or to fake it or pretend that it's something else, because you are adaptive beings and you can adapt to your environment. You can adapt to these temporary conditions. You can do it with greater ease than you may know right now. So we're not asking you to just all of a sudden turn your attention to something that feels better. It's not even possible really to do that. It would be like seeing someone who is just coming off the ski lift and they are headed down the ski slope and they hit some rough snow, an icy patch, something that trips them up, and now they are tumbling downward on the slope. And you could not look at them and say to them, "Stop, right now, stop," and expect them to do that because they've got some momentum going. And it's all right that you have some going too. But when you remember that while you have some momentum going, in response to what you're watching on television or hearing from one another or from social media, while you are naturally responding to what you see, no one's asking you to stop thinking that way or stop feeling what you're feeling, because that is irrational. But what we are encouraging you to do is to recognize that you do have an inner being who has a different perspective, an overview, an inner being who always, at all times, knows right where you are standing in your human perspective and form in relationship to where you want to be. And we want to say that you have never launched such clarity before. Your inner being is offering a vibrational frequency to you with such clarity that the likelihood of you tuning into it is much greater now than ever before. Esther used to tease with us and with Jerry, and she would say, "Abraham, why is it that I always seem to shine in a crisis?" And what she meant was, didn't matter if there was something going wrong, it seemed to cause her to rise to the occasion. And we always teased her and said, because the crisis makes you focus. And we want you to realize that you have the opportunity to focus not upon the crises, but upon the solutions. Not upon where you are right now, but where your vibrational reality has come to be as a result of what you have been observing. We want you to feel the wholeness of who you are, or at least we want you to acknowledge that there is that wholeness of you that is broadcasting to you, and that it is possible for you to find that frequency. And when you do, you will feel what it feels like from our point of view. You'll feel clarity because that's what we feel. And you will feel stability because that's what we know. And you will feel eagerness because new ideas are flowing. You will feel newfound creativity. Esther said, it feels like my brain is firing on all cylinders. It's like many thoughts are coming one after the other, and many times on different subjects, but still there is a continuity to it all. She is not feeling overwhelmed or confused, as normal life sometimes causes her to feel, because there is a stronger asking globally, a stronger asking from her personally, and all of that is serving her when she gets in the vicinity of us, of who we are, and it will serve you too. So there's lots to think about, we know, and there are many opportunities to think about subjects of large variety from different points of view. And we want to remind you that it's normal to have a knee-jerk response to something, that when you're calibrated to that energy will call you too. In other words, there's a certain momentum that you will feel, maybe some urges or something that may even feel to you like inspiration, because it's a momentum that is calling you to something. And while it's normal, and we are not encouraging you at all to try to not do that, because that's like asking the skier on the slope to stop that momentum just because you want him to. But we do want you to remember that there is another momentum that is so much more powerful, and it is much easier for you to tune into the frequency of that. And when you do, that momentum will give you not just a feeling of relief, it will be that and more. Not just a feeling of relief, but, as we just said, feelings of clarity and feelings of eagerness and feelings of newness and feelings of creativity, feelings of more, clear thoughts and feelings of all that is now coming as a result of what you are living. When that happens to you, it's interesting to watch you, because it could be something, as you might call it, we don't, but you might call it something as insignificant as feeling like, oh, I think I'll make my bed right now. Or, I have some time, I think I'll take a moment and clean out this drawer. I've sort of been tripping over its messy contents for a while. You will find yourself feeling these urges or impulses that will be inspiration from source energy. Because remember, your inner being knows right where you are, and knows where you want to be, and knows what the path of most allowance for you is. And so don't wait for big blasts of writing on the wall. Don't wait for the big thoughts. Don't wait for thoughts of exactly what you should do about everything now and later and later and later. Let it come to you in the frequency and in the momentum that you are able to receive, and let that be enough. Don't ask yourself to be more receptive than you feel. Just ask yourself to be as receptive as you can be. It's a really, really good idea. Something that we are always encouraging under all conditions, for you to not push against anything. Don't push against the situation, and don't try to identify blame somewhere within it. And don't push against yourself for where you stand, or anyone who's up close to you. Because when you focus in an attitude of pushing against something, what you're focused upon becomes the point of attraction that you are at. And then the law of attraction gives you more momentum about that. So don't even push against not being able to help from doing that for a little while. What we're asking you to do is give yourself a break, and everybody else too. This is a wonderful opportunity for a sort of planetary rebooting, a restructuring of ideas and of priorities. And while there will be, for sure, what you will call a sort of getting back to what you want to call normal, we want you to know normal is not ever going to be what it ever was before. It's going to be so much better because of the upheaval of your own thoughts, because of the launching of your new rockets, and because of the collective consciousness, the collective vortex that is summoning in a powerful way. Sometimes, when you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, you don't recognize that this situation is helpful in you getting ready to be ready for things you really do want. You've been asking for a lot of things, you as an individual, and you as a mass consciousness, you as a cluster of people, or you as global consciousness. You've been asking for a lot of things, and you've been asking somewhat in an attitude of doubt about them at the same time. And already you're beginning to see planetary improvements, clear water in some places, wildlife returning, clear atmospheres, already things that you have been complaining about not being possible. Just with a little bit of adjustment to what's going on, you are seeing that there are solutions, ready to manifest solutions. And in just that way, there are ready to manifest solutions about everything. Everything that is personal to you, everything that is more broadly asking, that you are more broadly asking for, like things around your family or friends or community. These are really good times, and we want to say that to you as we stand in your vortex, because that's the place in which we stand. Those who have not come to realize that there is a vibrational reality and that it is the precursor to all things that manifest, they might find reason to criticize when things look grim or troubling, to hear someone say things really are well. And it's all right for them to not understand that right now. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would not try to convince anybody of anything, because their path of least resistance is what has them focused right now. And for some, their path of least resistance is anger, because their inner being is calling them forward toward who they really are, and that's a long way from the despair that they might have been feeling, and it's an improvement to them. But it won't help you and it won't help them if you get into a strong conversation with them about a vibrational reality. They may accuse you of fairy tale thinking, and we assure you it is not. But it's hard for some people to believe something that they can't see. And since you are humans who, for the most part, have been focused upon what you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch with your physical senses, we get it that that is the reality that you want to describe and defend. We also want you to know that this vibrational reality is real also. And while it isn't something that you can see or hear or smell or taste or feel with your fingertips, it is something that you can sense. It's what your emotional guidance system is all about. You are closer to tuning to it when you feel what you call positive emotions, and not tuning to it when you feel negative emotions. In other words, you can tell by the way you feel which way you are leaning. And so, you know how when you are headed out on any journey, and there is an expanse of distance and time between where you are now and where you believe your destination is, and it's natural to want to stop and take score, to notice where you are, to line up and think about what you want, and then stop and take score to see if your lining up has done any good. Did my positive thoughts improve my situation? I want to take score right now. And while we get why you would want to do that, we want to remind you that when you stop to take score, because you want to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, What you're really doing is setting your guidance system aside and not exercising your improving and increasing ability to know things before they happen, to know what's coming, to let the good stuff in. Our favorite words that Esther has found to describe that is to be in the receiving mode of it. Because your tuner's always on, so your tuner meaning your point of attraction is always on. And the law of attraction is always responding to what your vibrational output is. And so if you are tuned to what is, then you will be a perpetuator for now of what is. But as you tune to what is in this vibrational reality, and you know that you've done it, not because you can see the evidence yet, but because you feel a little better. As you do that, as you become really good at doing that, what happens to you right away, the manifestation that you can take score of right away, is the improvement in the way you feel. And that is everything. An improvement in the way you feel. That is everything. An improvement in the way that you feel. That is everything. There isn't anything, not a situation, a condition, a relationship, a pile of money, an empire. There is nothing that you desire for any other reason than you think you will feel better in the having of it. And what you have an opportunity to come to know is that you don't have to have it in order to feel it, but by feeling it and feeling better, now you are closing the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And you will see day-to-day evidence of that right around you. There is so much around you in your immediate vicinity that will yield to you improvement. But here's the thing, sounds a little bit like a contradiction. We don't want you to need or look for that improvement, not right now. Because in your need or in your premature looking for it, rather than in the way you feel, then you redirect your focus. And it's not like stepping back, and it's not like being held back, but it does perpetuate a momentum other than the momentum that you really want to perpetuate. So what is the momentum that you really want to perpetuate? Well, we've been telling you this story for a while, that you are an extension of source energy, and you came into this physical body, and we always like to say splat because it sort of emphasizes the moment in which you emerged here and began to observe, and this physical point of attraction began to really take hold or come into sharper focus as you began to settle into your physical environment and observe it with your physical senses. And as you are observing, just naturally observing your life around you, people around you, the situations around you, the nature around you, the environment around you, through that exposure to this magnificent leading edge time and space, you are automatically doing the step one that you knew you would do when you decided to come into this environment, this physical environment, into this body and create. You knew that the environment would activate within you clarity of wanted and unwanted. You knew it would help you to focus, and you knew it would be the reason that you would launch rockets of desires. So we call that step one. It's the asking. Life causes you to ask. It just does. You don't have to work hard at it. You are globally asking like never before. It is a magnificent thing to behold. So you are asking. Now step two, that's where non-physical comes in. That's what the vortex is about. That's what the vibrational reality is about. And that's what law of attraction responding to that point of focus, which is the non-physical you, is about. And it makes us say in pointed words, when you ask, it is given. When you ask, it is given. Now, some complain, well then where is it? And we say, it's given, it's a vibrational reality, and you say, big deal, I don't want a vibrational reality. I want a reality I can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. And we say, we know you do, but you also want a reality that you can feel. And this is your opportunity beyond ever before to feel this reality, this vortexual vibrational reality. You can feel it if you want to. You can feel it if you'll let yourself, because it's broadcasting to you in a louder, stronger, more persistent, momentous wave than ever before. So that's step 3. That's when you are receiving that. That's when you feel clarity. You feel an idea. You get an idea that would help right now. You get an idea that thrills you when you think about it. You get an idea that rings your bells and makes you buzz a little bit. You feel, and it might just be an idea, hear us and understand us, about cleaning out a drawer. It might be that idea. Doesn't matter how grand you think it is or how insignificant you think it is. When the idea comes from source energy, because you are no longer offering resistance, you're in the receiving mode. We like to explain that the receiving mode is like a cork bobbing on the surface of the water. Let's call that receiving mode. Tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Now you can hold that cork under the water with worrisome thoughts or focused upon things that cause you to feel uncomfortable. But when you let go of it, it's going to bob back up. And that's what you're like. You bob back up if you will just let yourself. In other words, if you're not focused upon worrisome thoughts, and we know this is the last moment in time where you really want to hear that, because there are a lot of worrisome thoughts that are sort of being atmosphered around you. Nobody's asserting them into your experience, but they're available for you to tune into. So when you aren't thinking that thought that causes you to feel bad, then your cork floats. You get into the receptive mode. And that's step 3, receiving. That's where impulses come from. That's where thriving comes from. That's where your replenishment comes from. That's where your cells of your body are nourished. In other words, it's a replenishing mode, replenishing of thoughts, replenishing of point of attraction, replenishment on all levels. It's the receptive mode. It's the receiving mode. It's pure positive energy, and it's raining down all around you. You just have to let yourself open to it. Let yourself open to it and feel it. We are sitting in a room with a tin roof, and the rain just began to rain down, emphasizing that well-being is raining down all around you. In other words, an instant manifestation that demonstrates to you that the majority of what's going on this planet is still well-being raining down around you. And your cork can float if you will just let it. Now, how do you go about letting your cork float? Some want to take hold of it and just goose it up a little bit. That's not a good idea. We don't want you to try to force anything. Just try to relax a little more. Try to think more positive things about more things. In other words, look for reasons to feel good right where you are. And of course, the easiest way for your cork to really float, for you to really accomplish the receptive mode, the easiest way for you to do that is by quieting your mind altogether. Quieting your mind is not a difficult thing. It's a focus thing. It's a focusing on things not interesting, or focusing on things with not much momentum. In other words, if you do it earlier in the day, it's easier for you to quiet your mind. If you wait until your mind is already activated around many other things, it will be less easy for you. Esther has explained to people she visits with about meditation that sometimes it takes her 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 attempts at refocusing into quiet, because there are already thoughts that have some momentum going and they are attracting her. That's what the point of attraction is accomplishing. But if you can find something to focus upon, you may be able to hear the rain that is raining down, or there may be some sound in your environment that you could focus upon. But if you can find something that calls your attention, but not much of it, like the sound that comes from a fan or an air conditioner, or even the sound that comes from a dripping faucet, or the sound that comes from rain raining on your roof to demonstrate for you that here is something for you to focus upon. If you will focus upon that, your mind will quiet, because your thoughts will slow down, because you are not feeding the momentum. You're focused upon something that is more singular. Or you could focus upon your breathing. That's how Esther first meditated. Breathing in and out, counting her breath, wanting to give her attention to that and only to that. And so what you'll discover as you get better and better at releasing thought and easier at allowing your vibration to rise, what you will begin to accomplish is more time in vibrational alignment with the broader part of you, which means more time in vibrational alignment with the desires that you've been projecting or launching into your vortex. More alignment with the desires that you have launched, that your inner being has called into the vortex. More time, more airtime, more practice time, more vibrational time. And before you know it, you'll find that at any moment in time, you have the ability to put yourself in a place apart from others, if you can. Close your eyes, get comfortable, and focus inside your own being and feel what your inner being is feeling. Now, at first, what you'll feel will be feelings. What you'll feel will be emotions. In other words, you may feel ease or maybe some relief initially. You'll feel some maybe movement. Your inner being may direct movement, and you may be a clear recipient of it. And so you may find yourself moving to the rhythm of what your inner being is offering. In other words, think about what's happening. There's no assertion. Your inner being isn't moving your head. There's only attraction. But when you quiet your mind, you become one with that point of attraction. That matters so much. Imagine being in alignment and at the same point of attraction as your inner being, who stands where all of your solutions are, leading you through the path of most allowance, or as we usually speak it to humans, through your path of least resistance, to emotions first, feelings first, bodily sensations first. You may find some feelings of twitches and itches as energy moves about within you. It's all good, and there's no right or wrong way. Just acknowledge that you're tuning in, and don't think too hard about the fact that you are tuned in or that you like to be tuned in. Just be easy in your thoughts about it, and the momentum of your alignment will increase. When Esther first began to meditate, she tuned in to us rather quickly. And even in the first attempt at quieting her mind. And then she and Jerry meditated every day for 15 or 20 minutes for about 9 months. Didn't need to be that long, but they were enjoying it. Each day, wearing comfortable clothing and focusing on their breathing. And as Esther achieved vibrational alignment with us, we began flowing, expressing, streaming. What we really began doing was thinking in a frequency that she could hear. And so thoughts began to occur to her, but she didn't know that they weren't her thoughts because they were being translated by her. In other words, she was the receiver of our thoughts. But we want to be clear, We and you and us, it's our thoughts. In other words, we're thinking them, and if you're getting them, then you're thinking them too. That means you're in alignment. You're in alignment. You're in alignment with the well-being that you've been asking for a long time. You're in alignment with the well-being that you've just been asking for recently. You're in alignment with the collective consciousness well-being that is being asked for globally. In other words, you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and thoughts are going to begin to flow to you. Better said, you're going to begin to receive the revealing of these thoughts. The revelation of these thoughts has been going on for a long time with you. But you are going to be tuned with your floating cork to the frequency of these thoughts. And you're going to feel it. And you're going to know it. And you won't be wondering about it. And the reason you won't be wondering about it is because, especially now, in your now manifested reality, where you are launching stronger desires than ever before, there is a greater gap between where most people are and where their inner being is, and you're going to feel the tuning process happen within you. You're going to know it. Sometimes we've said in previous conversations that we like it. Stay with us. We like it. Stay with us. We like it when you get your back up against a wall sometimes, because that causes you to launch rockets, and it also causes you to focus. And what we mean by that, it causes you to do more deliberately what you came here to do. You are a powerful creator. You are pure, positive energy in a physical body. You are a creative genius. You are a brilliant creator. And not one of you said, well, I'll go forth into a physical existence. I'll go forth into a human body. But get it all cleaned up first. Get it all looking really good. Get all the bugs worked out. And when it is pleasing to me, then I'll come forth and I'll observe the things that are there then. Not one of you said that. Instead, you said, I'm eager to jump in because I know the variety and contrast will activate within me my personal preferences. So I get to be a personal, deliberate creator. And you also said, and I know that my inner being, the larger part of me, from whence I have come, will remain non-physically focused and will receive each and every desire that I launch, and will hold steady those desires in a frequency of pure positive energy. So that any time I get in the vicinity of that, I will feel it, and I will feel the inspiration of it, and I will be guided. I will be called toward not just the end result, because the end result is what I'm looking for, but called along the journey to the end result that won't stay the end result, because there will be another and another and another and another. You will never get it done, and you cannot get it wrong. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. Wherever you stand is causing you to launch new requests, which are being granted immediately by source and non-physical energy and your inner being. And so, whether you are deliberately meditating and deliberately quiet your mind, whether you are deliberately focusing, whether you are wanting to be a deliberate creator, still, everything is working as you knew it would. You knew that contrast would inspire new desire. And you knew that your inner being would get hold of that and become it. And you knew that in that happening, that the whole of you would have a stronger point of attraction. And you knew that the evolution of your species and all other species is based upon exactly that. You knew that the well-being would happen whether you were consciously letting yourself be deliberately in on it or not. That's why you jumped in with such eagerness. And so we know that all is well, whether you get hold of these ideas and are able to deliberately apply them. But we want you to feel not just the ease of relief. We want you to feel the delicious satisfaction of being a hands in the clay, deliberate creator. Nothing is more exhilarating than for life to cause you to identify a desire and for you to recognize you're not in the vibrational frequency of that desire right now. You can feel you're off because you feel doubt. You have a desire, but you feel doubt. And maybe the doubt usually in the beginning, is stronger than the desire. But because you know about this, and you know what doubt means, and you know what feeling better means, because you know what your emotions mean, because they are the indicator of what you're doing vibrationally and how you're closing the gap, and whether or not you are leaning in the direction of who you really are, or leaning in the direction of who you were, which caused you to become more. When you are understanding that and feeling yourself not energized, that's not what we want you to feel. Feel yourself called, and trust, even before the evidence, that we've got you. Your vortex has you. It is you. It is you. But sometimes you be a holdout to it, because what you want to call real life, it isn't. What you want to call real life, because it's manifested, has your attention and has got you right now just for a little bit pinched off from the whole of who you are. Imagine you, or the people you love, or imagine a world letting in more of who you are, all that you are. I like that word imagine, because imagine isn't you projecting a thought, writing it down, trying to shine it on a screen. Imagining is you in the receiving mode, receiving blocks of thought from that larger part of you, and those thoughts being translated by you, because you're in the receiving mode, into images. Imagine, let yourself see who you really are. Let yourself live now all that you've been asking for. So, do we know that you're going to get it? We do. And do we know that you're going to get down the road and look back and acknowledge how much has happened within you because of these manifested old news times? Yeah. You're on the cusp of a reawakening to who you are, to all that you are. But don't misunderstand us. We're not asking you to do this so that you can create more stuff, but you will. That's good. Or so that you can have more things, but you will, and that's good. We want you to feel like you intended to feel when you decided to come. You know how you feel when somebody else has an idea of something that you should do and directs you? And sometimes you're willing to be cooperative and you will do it. And sometimes not feeling that great about it. Sometimes just doing it because somebody's asking you to do it. And it's the path of least resistance not to evoke their wrath. So you just do it. But you still have resistance within you while you're doing it. You're not doing it willingly. You're doing it, but not really willingly. That does not feel good. But you know what it feels like when an idea is hatched within you and it's your idea and the idea is calling you and you feel that eagerness, and then that idea grows to another and another and another and another. That's how you're supposed to feel. Life is supposed to be fun. That's what satisfaction is. Satisfaction is not you closing the gap between somebody else and what they want for you to do for them. Satisfaction is what happens. It only comes when you close your own gap. When what life has caused you to ask for is being allowed by you because you are focused in that direction rather than in opposition to that. And so there is eagerness here where we be. We feel eagerness about the newness that you have created and about the closing of the gap that you are upon, and about, most of all, the independent exhilaration that you will feel as you allow yourself to be in on your creation. Much of the world launches rockets and doesn't go toward them. That doesn't feel good. Much of the world launches rockets of desire and feel like they can't go toward them, and then looks for others to blame about why they're not able to do or receive what they want. But you live in a vibrational universe. It's a universe that is attraction-based, and you are a vibrating being, and the law of attraction is responding to your vibration. So everything that comes to you is being invited by you, whether you meant to do it or not. Sometimes people don't like to hear that, and they'll say, I wouldn't have attracted that to me. I don't want that. And we say, we didn't say you wanted it, but we do say you attracted it by your attention to it. And so, now don't freak out. That doesn't mean that everything you think about is barreling in upon you. But the point that we are making is that it's such a wonderful thing when you really get it, that it's attraction, attraction, attraction. No one is doing anything to you. It's attraction, attraction, attraction. And at first, before you feel secure in your ability to quiet your mind and in your ability to allow your vibration to rise and in your ability to tune into your vortex and in your ability to receive those impulses, at first, knowing that you're attracting it might feel a little uncomfortable. But in comparison with the notion that someone else is asserting something that you don't want into your experience, it is such a big difference to know that as you get hold of this, as you get hold of the way you feel, and as you care about the way you feel, and as you direct your attention to things that feel better and better, as you focus into something that you can do something about. And that's the thing that we want to focus with you now just a little bit about, because as you are giving your attention to what's going on around you, and different parts of your government or your healthcare systems or family and friends are asking you to do things that don't feel normal to you, to separate yourself one from another and allow things to settle down a little bit. Think about what they're asking. They're just asking that you help in allowing the momentum of this thing that is unwanted to subside a little bit, to let it flatten out a little bit, to allow it by you not perpetuating it. Now, they're asking you to not perpetuate it by doing some things, and we are in vibrational alignment with that. But there's more that you can do that will help you so much. And that's understand the vibrational perpetuation of things. The vibrational perpetuation of things that are important to you. So, here's the rule of thumb that we would follow. Make a decision and line up with it. Don't make a decision and then push against it. Make a decision and line up with it. And you know, you've made decisions about things that your environment that is asking cooperation from you has asked. In other words, sometimes in your house when someone asks you to be quiet because they're trying to sleep, you've cooperated with that idea. And if you lined up with it, you didn't resent it, you actually enjoyed the soothing yourself. In your environment, when the stoplight is red and you want to cooperate so that you don't come crashing into one another, you've lined up with that. You don't sit at the light railing against it, mostly. Occasionally, we get it, you get impatient, but mostly you've lined up with that. And so we want to remind you that how you feel is about what you're doing with your energy. And since your inner being is calling you in a very strong way to all kinds of things that you've been asking for long before just lately, as your inner being is calling you toward those things, as you line up with your desires by focusing in the direction of them, the tug of war that your feeling, which always feels like negative emotion, will subside within you. And that's such a lovely thing when you're in control of your own vibrational offering, which means you're in control of your tug of war, how strong it is or whether it exists at all. You're in control of your emotions. You're in control of how you feel. You're aware of how you want to feel. You're tuning more and more to the whole of who you are. And you're feeling more satisfaction because that's where satisfaction comes from. And delicious ideas are flowing into your mind that are so strong that you cannot help but act upon them. And that's really what we were wanting to lead up to. There are actions that are being required of you. And we encourage you to not push against that. We encourage you to line up with that. But what we encourage first and foremost is that you line up. You line up. Because when you're in tune with who you are, you don't miss anything in your environment. The broadest of environments, standing on a hilltop and looking out over a great distance of beauty of this planet, is something that can be very satisfying. But it does not matter how vast your view is. It's the lining up that causes you, or better said, allows you to see the beauty right where you are. We are very pleased with the beauty of yourself that you are in the process of discovering, and the beauty of those with whom you're interacting. We like the clarity that is rampant on your planet right now. We like the energy that is flowing on your planet right now. We like the increase in the vibrational reality, or as we like to call it, the vortex that is happening right now. The heavens are thundering in confirmation of same. In other words, all that is excited about what you, dear hearts, creators on planet Earth, are doing here and now. So, in wrapping this time together up, we first want to say how delicious it is. And next we want to say, don't make a big thing about anything. And don't try too hard. And don't test yourself to see if you're doing it. You're doing it. You've got this. It won't be difficult. In fact, you're going to rise to it in a way that's going to give you a newfound reference point in how you feel about you and in how you feel about others. Esther awakened just a few mornings ago, and as she opened her eyes and came into her human brain consciousness, she was in the receiving mode of this idea for this broadcast. And she felt the exhilaration of it immediately. Thoughts were streaming, and she felt eager about it. And then she gathered together with her magnificent partners in crime here at Abe Hicks Publications, and began expressing her desire, and they began to chime in about not just their eagerness for it or their desire for it, but their minds began to fire off on how to bring it about, what equipment to gather up, and how to make it so. And as Esther left that first conversation with Tracy and Mark and Michelle, she felt exhilaration beyond anything that she has felt, maybe ever, because of the feeling of appreciation that she felt for the brilliance of these three people who she watched right before her eyes rise to the occasion of this new desire. And she thought, wow, we've never clicked like this before. We've never felt like this before. I've never loved like this before. I've never appreciated like this before. I've never felt eagerness like this before. And that's what we're talking about. That's what you are about to witness globally. That's what you are already witnessing in some regards globally. That's what you signed on for when you said you wanted to come forth into this physical body. You said, I'll go eagerly, willingly, happily. and I will carve out personal desires, and I will know by the way I feel how much in alignment with them I am or not, how much resistance to them I am offering, and I will tune myself because I care about how I feel to the frequency of all that I am, and I will feel satisfaction because life is supposed to be fun. There is so much love here for you and so much appreciation for the part that you play. Life is supposed to be fun, and we promise you that with just a little bit of tuning, you're going to remember that too. And for now, just for a little while, we will not broadcast through this lens, but you can find us if you want to, because we are projecting to you. Tune into us. Close that gap. There is not one of you who is not an extension of source energy. Not one of you who does not have source energy flowing to you. Each of you has what Esther is demonstrating here, the ability to tune in. But in the meantime, Esther's eager about doing this often, 3 hours a week for now. What fun. There is great love here for you. And for now, we remain stubbornly and happily in your vortex.